I want to know something from your childhood that you thought was okay, but now realize is really, really bad.
My mom would let my uncle take me for the weekends because his kids were taken from him by CPS for molestation. And so, he just wanted to hang out with me. He even had a really cute nickname for me, would like buy me stuff and shower me with attention. She thought it was just like so sweet, and he was just, like a really good guy. Wanted to spend time with his niece who was 6 by himself at his house for the weekends. I mean, it's normal, right?
Throughout my childhood, my dad used to sleep until noon, 1, 2, sometimes even 3 on the weekends. And when I would ask him to get up earlier or ask him why he slept so long, he would say, "This is what I earned working all week. This is what I want to do with my free time." My brother and I followed suit and developed this same pattern. And I now realize that this was not normal. This was a coping mechanism. This was a depression symptom. This was a trauma response. My dad's a lot happier now, and he doesn't sleep in anymore to avoid his life. I still struggle with oversleeping as a coping mechanism and fatigue as a symptom of depression. But I recognize now that I want to be awake for my life.
This one is easy for me. So mission trips. When I was younger, I thought that mission trips were really helpful to the communities that I was serving and really fun for me to participate in. And now that I'm much older, I have learned that me as a 16-year-old going to build houses for hurricane relief in New Orleans, I had no business doing that. I did not have the skills to do that. It would have been better if the 50 kids that went on that trip had took all the money we raised for us to fly from Seattle to New Orleans and house ourselves there for a week. If we had just donated all that money to programs that help uplift their own communities within the city of New Orleans. Also, studies have shown that children in Africa, like when you go visit orphaned children in other countries, it's detrimental to their mental health for them to have just a revolving door of white people come in and out of their lives for a couple weeks every summer. Don't do mission trips, they're bad.
So for the record, I'm 23 years old now. But when I was younger, my mom used to go to the casino, right? And, kids are not permitted at the casino, at least not in Wisconsin. So she would go to the casino and she had a van. And if you've been to the casino, you have bonus plays and little shit like that. I would lay in the middle seat because it was 2 rows. I would lay on the floor of the van, and she would go in and do her bonus play, and she would leave me with her phone, and she would call and check on me while she was in the casino. Because she didn't want to leave me at home by myself or didn't have a babysitter, or we were probably going to do something after. So I basically would just sit and lay in the car on the floor while she was in the casino. And looking back, that was fucking terrible. And I just didn't think nothing of it. That was regular life to me.
Oh my god, I was waiting for this one. Okay, so when I was younger, every time I lied, my parents would punish me by eating a chile. It started off with hot sauce and upgrade to a jalapeno and then upgrade to something else. My point is that every time I lied, it got worse and worse. So in the 6th grade, I had a little boyfriend and I lied to my parents about it. They got really mad and I got punished. So my punishment was I had to eat an habanero chile, one of the hottest chiles out there, drenched in tapatio, by the way. I wasn't able to drink any water. Keep in mind, I was 11. And yeah, I was crying because it hurt so much and I was on fire. And my babas, my jewels started dripping down everywhere. I would smear them up like that, would rub my eye. My spit was spicy and my whole face and everything was burning. I was screaming, I was crying, and my parents were yelling at me to shut up, and I couldn't shut up. Went into a whole panic attack. I don't have time to finish. Oh! I just woke up and you guys were like, part two. Okay, here's a part 2. Alright, so like I said, the drool was just going everywhere. I was rubbing my eyes. It was going on my chest. It was burning. I vividly remember that. And because I was screaming and crying, my parents got upset, told me to shut up and just finish it. What? No, I couldn't. So once my parents saw that I was hyperventilating, turning red, on the verge of passing out, my dad took me to the backyard and sprayed me with the hose. He thought this is gonna calm me down. No, alright? I'm already hyperventilating. I'm already freaking out, and just cold water going all over me and my clothes made it 10 times worse, because now I was just screaming. I was freaking out. I didn't know what was going on. So then he dragged me to the shower. He put the shower on me. It was hot. It was burning my skin even more. They just couldn't. They pulled out milk, ice. They tried to calm me down. Did I learn my lesson? No, I just became better at lying, so I went through all that for nothing.
Y'all, my gangsta ass mom and dad, they used to have parties at our house, and I don't know why the fuck they let me be security guard. Bitch, I thought I was the shit with my little metal detector, because if you from the hood, you just don't trust nobody. Like, bitch, we checking everybody coming in this goddamn bar, because it's our house, you know, the fuck. So anyways, I sure was like, you know, beep beep, spread them, beep, bitch. I was doing everything. I had my little hat, I was hustling pool games, who would win, who wouldn't, you know what I mean? It was crazy. I would dance for everybody, the little Daddy Yankee, that I got so mean. Bitch, it was so ghetto. Like, I loved it. I would go to school and be like, what'd you do this weekend? I'd be like, I was security guard at my mom's party. The fuck, what'd you do? But, you know, my mom and dad don't get down like that. I mean, don't tempt them. You know, we go to church every Sunday now, but, you know, don't get it twisted.
So, as kids, my brothers and I used to be very close to this one family. Our parents and everything were really close. So we used to go to their house after school every single day. And their father, whenever he was home, decided to lock us in the basement for a while, for a couple hours. I'm talking like 5 hours at times. And so one of the brothers, the older, decided one day to call 911 from the basement because we've been down there and they wouldn't let us out. So fast forward a little bit, the mom comes downstairs saying, you guys have some explaining to do, the police are here. So we went upstairs, told the police we've been stuck in there for hours, we got a speech about misusing 911, and then we all got grounded.
Okay, so this isn't from my childhood, but one time I was babysitting this little boy, and he looks at me and he's like, why is your stomach so big? And I was like 16 at the time, and I was like, what? And he was like, yeah, why is your stomach so big? And I was like, my stomach isn't big. And he's like, yeah, it is. And he points at my boobs, and I'm like, that's not my stomach. And he's like, well, what is it? And I'm like, you can ask your mommy what that is. Hers are bigger than mine.
The 5th grade Civil War reenactment, hands down. I mean, we got put on sides. We made these napkin flower bombs that were the bullets. When you died, you just went and laid on this hill. The hill where the nurses were. You know, all the female nurses. And you know, whatever side you were on, we were like 10, so we rooted for our side. Luckily, my teacher made me Union gang. You know, there were kids on the South who were cheering for the South, even though we all knew the South lost. Like, you had kids on the South cheering for their side. You know, at the time, you're kids. It's fun Civil War reenactment day. You grow up and you're just like, damn, that's not good to do. I mean, my Texas elementary school also had a whole week dedicated to the Trail of Tears, where we journaled as if we were a part of it. Our teacher would be like, oh, today's your last day. You're dying of smallpox. Make sure to put it in your journal. Like, what was that? Why? Why did they let us do that? If my child came home and said they were doing that at school, we're going to pick up the kid and we're going to move him somewhere else. That's not good. You can teach kids about it any other way. And Texas chose the wrong way.
I grew up in a white affluent neighborhood, but the flat I lived in with my mum was borderline squalid. Like, our bathtub was in the kitchen. I'm not joking. Basically, we were the only poors of the neighborhood. And I was the only, one of my classmates and one of my best friends happened to live right across the street from me. And one day, his parents invited all of his friends and classmates for his birthday. All of his friends except me, who lived right across the street and could see everyone getting into his place. So I was at my balcony waving at all my friends getting one by one into my other friend's place. They'd be like, hey, are you coming down? And, well, no, I wasn't invited. See you tomorrow at school. My mum, bless her, tried her best to shield me from the realization of what was actually happening. So she took me out camping that weekend and convinced me that I would be the one that all my classmates envy for the weekend I had.
Between the ages of me being 12 and 14, every single weekend my mother would get me a hotel room, and she would get one across the hall. I wouldn't bother her or anything. She wouldn't bother me. And she would give me some money. I go shopping, call it a day, blah, 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 so forth. And so Fast forward, my mother and my father break up. She gets a new man, and I remember this man because I seen him one day when she was dropping me off at the hotel one day. And come to find out that whole time that she was taking me out every weekend, it was just an excuse so that she could get away from my dad and cheat on him with my current stepdad. And all the money that I was getting was from him.